Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Laura with Diamond Painting and Stitching with Laura. And today I am working on Nola. I've done a lot this morning since I ever got here, guys. You just wouldn't believe it. So I thought I'd take advantage of my big 3 days off. Yep. And this morning I got up and I pulled weeds until I couldn't see straight. And then when my back started hurting, I decided I'd come inside. And then I looked at the floor, and the floor is all wood. Excuse me. Sorry. And yeah, we're special today. So Laura decided that she was going to mop the floor in the kitchen and the front room. But first you have to sweep it and mop it up and get rid of all the trash and etc, etc, etc. Oh yeah, so we mopped those 2 rooms and then I had to sit down and rest again. And oh yeah, it's been fun. Then, as if all that crap wasn't enough, I had to give Molly a bath. Because, yep, I don't give her a bath. She's old and I don't give her a bath in the wintertime. Because her fur is like a terrier fur, and it takes like, I mean, it's short, but it's not, it's dense. Does that make sense? And it takes forever for her to dry. So I got that taken care of, and finally had to have something to eat because I plumb run out of energy by that time. So then I decided that I was going to sit down and sew on the peacock. Yeah. So I'm sewing along and getting more relaxed. Just taking it easy. Yeah. I look down and I'm doing the wrong color. Oh, yeah. So I had to rip all that out. Then I decided, well, maybe sewing isn't for me today. So here we are. We're diamond painting now. Because, yeah, I told you, I hate to tear anything out. Just drives me crazy. I didn't have to tear it out. I mean, I use my handy dandy heavy scissors. And they have a nice sharp point on them, so that didn't take too long. But, yeah, I was kind of over that for the day. Well, at least for a few hours. So I thought we'd just diamond paint for a while. Maybe we won't get into trouble doing that. So we'll see. These squares on Nola here, I don't know. It's like the beads. The diamonds are just a little bit small for the space. I keep adjusting them up and down. But, and I keep thinking, well, maybe I didn't push one down far enough. But, yeah, I'm not real happy with these drills. And like I said, I'll go back and straighten the whole mess out. But it just is kind of frustrating today, so. Yeah. But, so that's how my day's been. So I'm just glad I'm not at work. I just couldn't take anymore. So I don't know if I'm going to make it 5 days a week all summer long or not, but this whole week has just been kicking my butt. Absolutely. Whoops, where's them blacks? Not like we don't have any of them. There's only like, what, 6, 7 bags? I just I had to get a new placer thing because my other one is worn down to the nub, and it's, when I was picking stuff up, it only picked up part of them. It was just being a pain in the neck, so I thought, well, it's not like we are at a loss for those. Oh, darn it. I was just thinking I didn't get out to go to get that thing that I told you I wanted to go get. What do you call it? Storage container thing. Haven't done that yet, and I have to do a repair to my door. The nails are not nails, but the screws are stripped out in the hinge. So I had this bright idea. I was going to go get some wood putty and cram it into those holes and then screw the screw back in and see if that would hold it. I mean, I've been fighting this ever since I moved into this house. So, yeah. And, you know, we could probably move the hinge, but I don't have a drill, so I'm doing it all by hand. So, handiwork like that is so not me. And my daughter's got busy things to do, so usually she comes and helps, but not today. She's kind of got her hands full, so. And it's like I've been complaining about this for like months, and she knows that I know it. We just keep forgetting it until you open the door, and then you can't get the damn thing shut because the screws are coming out. Yeah, it's great. You see what I mean? I don't know if you can. Oh, yeah, that worked, didn't it? Oh, God. I'm right here. But, yeah, it's been great. So I'm a little pooped. I don't know whether to take a nap or just kind of go with it. But, oh no, I think I was just trying to do too much at one time. Oh, God, sorry, guys. Told you. Nap is getting called for here. Too much stuff to do today. But I wanted to get some of this stuff done before it gets to be summer, and too much, too much, too much, too much. Get this little corner done. Oh no, it's kind of weird. I mean, it's in line right here, but all this is off about 1/8 of an inch. And just keep it kind of adjusting it up and down. So, I can live with that. There's nothing wrong with the canvas, so everything's going on the canvas just fine. It's just trying to get everything in line. I notice with these bigger ones, it's harder to keep things in line than when I was working on Myrtles. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have too many issues there, but the space wasn't very far off. I had the same problem with Dream. So, but hey, and it's not like the, what do you call it, the drills are bad or, you know, off or have novelty bits or anything weird, you know. I mean, it's just kind of strange. I don't know what this is I'm making over here. It looks like some kind of a bug. He's got little antennas over here. So, I don't know. And I really don't need my, whoops, that's upside down. That won't do. I don't need my light pad because Diamond Art Club, you know, you can really see them. Now, unless I was, I don't know. I can see them, I was going to say if it was dark, but this, can you see this purple right, I'll point, right in here? It's kind of faint, where, you know, then the next one that's purple has the white in it, so I can see them, but, oh well. I just don't, if I don't have to use it, I won't. And Molly, she's all curled up on the couch over there, and one of those Indian blanket things. I took the comforter away from her, the one that's got the fleece lining, because I didn't want to have to put it on my bed and have it smell like wet dog. So hopefully she'll dry out soon. I'm afraid to set her outside. It's not what you call warm. It's supposed to get to like 60-some degrees today. And then, of course, then as soon as it gets to that point, that's when the wind starts. And, oh, geez. Yeah, yesterday it was blowing absolutely like crazy. It must have been doing 40, 50 miles an hour. Like I say, it just runs like a trough right down through between me and the next trailer. So I have to keep things nailed down. I had to keep the snow shovel inside most of the winter time because the wind would blow it over. And then I wouldn't be able to find it because it'd snow. Oh yeah, it's great. Just special. But I don't think we're going to get any warmer today. Oh goodness, guys. Jeez. Well, I just wanted to come on and do a little whip and chat. Because I hadn't really worked on this since started. Let's see. Green is 906. And I can still see the numbers on this one, unlike the crazy princesses. Can't see squat with them princesses, man. Because I just know what the numbers are pretty much here and there. And can kind of fill in the blanks because they're in order, you know, on my key. But, oh God. And so every once in a while I'll have to go back through and, what do you call it? And, remark them with my marking pen. My, permanent marker. But it's never permanent. The oils in your hands get things going, and it just wears off. I can hardly wait to finish that stupid thing. I had somebody comment on one of my, oh, it was the one where I was working on the peacock. And they said they had one just like that, and I think that was the one they were talking about. And they said it took them 9 months to do. There is no way in 9 months I'm going to finish anything. So, yeah, it'd probably take me another 20 years, the rate I'm going. If I have to keep ripping things out, jeez. Every once in a while I'll screw up on a diamond painting, but hell, my hands are just killing me today. From pulling them weeds, oh my God. Well, they weren't in there so hard. I waited until it rained so I could pull them things, because I don't have any grass out there per se, but there's a great big dirt area and it gets full of weeds, so I have to do that about 2 to 3 times in the summer, depending on, you know, of course, how much rain we get. But yeah, it's special. And yeah, I'm not much into pulling weeds, or I'm not an outdoor girl here. I'm more the indoor girl type. I just don't like. I mean, if I had a garden, yeah, maybe. I've just kind of got past that too. When we lived in Iowa, when we lived in Kansas, I had a great big huge garden. It was probably 50 feet by 100, 150, 200 feet. It was huge. And worked my butt off, and about the only thing that grew out there was some onions and, oops, got that puppy in the wrong place. Onions, and I had some beans, enough to make maybe a batch for dinner a couple times. And my zucchini grew really well. So I canned zucchini and, whoops, come back here. Zucchini, and I'd had a few tomatoes, not a whole lot. The first year I was in Kansas, I had another garden, and I planted over 20 tomato plants, you know, cherry tomatoes or regular tomato plants, and I ended up canning up a bunch of them. So we had buku of tomatoes and zucchini. Zucchini grew really well there. I think it was the soil. And onions, and I had, what do you call it? What do you call those things? I had cayenne peppers, jalapenos, banana peppers, and I had basil that I worked with. I planted my cayenne with my basil and my tomatoes, and vice versa there, so that it would kind of make the tomatoes hotter. And so we had plenty of those. Those grew really well. I moved here to Colorado, and I could not find any cayenne plants at all. So I don't know. I don't think that they grow well at high altitude. I have no idea, but I couldn't find any seeds. I couldn't find any plants. Nowhere. I went to Walmart. I went to the nursery here, and I have no idea what that was all about. But I miss my cayenne, because I took the cayenne and I dried it, and then I grind it up in my blender, pulse it, and I use it in everything, because cayenne is supposed to be good for joint pain. So I use a lot of cayenne and cumin, and I like habaneros. So yeah, we made tons of crap when I lived in Kansas. But I even had rhubarb at that first place. I had planted some of it the year before, and then the second year that we were there, it actually came up, and I got to make rhubarb pie. I was so happy. I love rhubarb. Just love it to death. They don't much care for me anymore, but, it tends to go right through me, but I love the taste of it. When I was little, we must have had 7 or 8 rhubarb plants out where the, what do you call them, lilacs were. And they were probably 4 feet across. They were just huge. And we could cut rhubarb until we was just absolutely sick of it. We'd just cook it up in a little water and a little sugar, and man, that was so good. And just kind of make it like applesauce. And that was another thing when I lived in Kansas. There was a house next door, and they tore the house down, and the lady would come, or the man, whomever. I think there was a lady in the beginning, but they would come to look at this house because it was like a rental property for them. And one year they were out there, and I knew nobody lived there, and they had an apple tree, and it was kind of a short apple tree, but it produced apples about yay big, and so I knew it had been there a while. And I asked her if I could get some apples. She said, well, honey, you just go over there and get what apples you want whenever you want. You don't have to ask me. And I said, well, I always do, Somebody else's property. Why would I go pick apples on your property? But I just couldn't stand the fact that they were falling on the ground and nobody was using them. So I gathered them up one time and sat there for probably a good 6-8 hours between peeling and cutting them suckers up. And then I cooked them, and I probably put up about 25 to 30 quarts of applesauce. So we had enough applesauce for like life. And they were really good, Like I said, and it was an established tree, but I just couldn't stand it that they were falling on the ground and going to waste. And, knew that I could do something with them. So we did that a few years, hand running, but and I couldn't, they were red, so I don't know what that means to anybody. And that place that I told you we had, the first garden with all the peppers and the tomato plants, I love planting a garden. I love planting a garden. I don't like to take care of it. See, that's half the problem. there was a yellow delicious and a red delicious, I'm assuming. Um, I might be wrong on that. Um, apple trees, and they were huge, just absolutely gigantic. I mean, they were probably close to 100 years old, but they would just fall everywhere, so we had to do all that. And it was on like a green belt, and that property belonged to the lady next door, and or part of our property. And then you just went along the green belt, and if you followed that all the way down, there was another person that had somebody planted at one time or another about, I would say 12 what do you call them, apple trees. And they weren't very big, so I don't know, how, when, but I mean, they were fully loaded, I mean, all the time. And we'd get apples down there from her, and we'd make apple butter, and we'd make apple sauce, and we'd make apple pie filling. It was like, okay, I'm really done with them apples. And then also the people next door had a pear tree. And one year I got the pears, and I made pear pineapple jam from that. And so, yeah, I loved can. I like to make jams and jellies, and I'll make pie fillings if I have to. But I've never used a pressure cooker, and so I have no clue how to do that. So I've never gotten into canning the meat and stuff. So I don't even know how to use it. I mean, I had several people that offered them to me, but I didn't know what the hell to do with them because my mother never used a pressure cooker on anything ever. So, I don't know. So, and I make jalapeno pepper jelly in the summer, and I'll send some to my sister. If we go up there, I'll take her some, but I haven't done that in a while, and I like to do that. And I even had a recipe for peach rum jam. I don't know what happened to it or where it's at. It was actually get this, it was in the Betty Crocker, the red and white Betty Crocker cookbook that everybody that gets married gets one, like 40 years ago. I actually picked up a copy of one of those, and it's from like the 50s or 60s, so it was an earlier version of that. But that was my go-to. But that's what that peach rum jam was in. And I haven't made that in a long time. But it turned out really well. It was one of those that never really set. Have you ever had jam like that? It's like, ugh, what the hell? So, I mean, no matter what I did, and I did it just to schematic, So, I don't know what happened to that, but it tasted all right, Oops, I was looking for my next color. I gotta reach over there. That thing's way over there now. And it didn't come with one of those little sticky thingies, so that's okay. We're good. I'm gonna get smart and get one of them label makers, but I don't know. No. I heard one lady, she was talking about how that sticker didn't come off, and I'm like, yep, that's exactly why I didn't get them. So I keep reminding myself of that. They're cool to have, and oh God, my grandkids would go frickin' nuts. If they had a sticker maker, they'd be driving my daughter nuts. But, yeah, so I like to can. I just don't do much of it, I did, because, I don't know, there's nobody to eat it anymore, and my boyfriend loved, that we'd fix, like, tomatoes and, what do you call those things? Zucchini, and cook those up, and, hot bath them. But see, I'm not at high altitude, so I'm a little cautious at high altitude. I've had jams and jellies turn out, don't get me wrong, but when you go to canning fruit or anything like that, you have to cook it longer in the hot bath thing, and that's kind of where I get scared. When I was first married, my mother-in-law at the time, we went there's a place, I lived in Denver, and there's a place, oh, it's probably, I'll say 25 to 30 miles, I'm just giving or taking. It was on the outskirts of Denver, actually, up north, and it was called Brighton, and we called it Brighton Farms because they had great big Quonset huts full of vegetables that you could buy in the summer. So, her and I got a wild hare, and we went up there, and we bought bushels of crap. And we had just bought, my husband at the time, and I had just bought a stand-up freezer that was as big as a refrigerator. Je m'en And, so we thought we'd just fill that. So, we got, like, bushels of carrots and peppers and anything and everything we could. And they were really, you know, kind of inexpensive, you know. It's a good thing I had a big kitchen. I had a huge kitchen. A big old farm kitchen at the time. And we must have had 25 to 30 crates of vegetables and fruits or whatever all over that kitchen. And we blanched, and we blanched, and we bought Ziploc bags, and we put everything in bags, and we filled that freezer. I made, what do you call it? Corn relish. Oh my God. This went on for like a week. I thought we were never going to get done. I thought it was going to kill us both. I don't know what we were thinking. And then, when that all got done, where his mother lived, she lived in an old part of Denver. And it was kind of a long lot. And on both sides of the yard, there were grapevines that had been there for 20 to 30 years. So it was loaded with purple grapes. I'll call it purple Concord grapes, I guess. I don't know. We picked grapes and cut. I mean, we couldn't even get to them fast enough before they were rotten on top of us. So we had to throw away some of them, but we did the grapes. We did grape jelly, and we canned up some grapes. Oh my God. And then the house we lived in had cherries. Oh yeah, it was like the year of the marathon canning crap. So we did cherries in a jar, we did cherry jam, cherry jelly. Oh my God. It just went on and on and on. I mean, we had boxes. We put them in boxes, and because we had a basement, so it would stay nice and cool. Oh my God, I've never seen so much shit in my entire life that we were never ever going to eat. You know, and all this for me saying, I wanted to make just a little bit of strawberry jam. Just, you know, enough for us. Yeah, right. And so was that onslaught. Oh my God. Yeah, I thought she was going to kill me before it was over with, but I found out how to can. But see, during that whole process, never once did we use a pressure cooker. And I sure as hell hope I'm putting these in the right place. So, see, I just never got onto that. And I know people that's all they know, you know. And never did make pickles. Oh, well, okay, let me rephrase that. I made some sweet pickles, and you cooked it all up in this, I'll call it turmeric water with whatever else was in that brine. And then you took the cucumbers and you sliced them up and put them right in there, and then it wasn't in there long, see. And then you just canned it up and let it sit, and they turned out just fine. So I have never done the long process of making dill pickles and that kind of thing. So, yeah. My aunt has done it, and she sent me recipes because I wanted one good for, you know, sweet pickle recipe. And when I read the instructions on the other things, I went, oh God, no, I can't do this. So, because you had to brine them, and you had to set them on ice, and no, not only no, but hell no. That wasn't happening with children hanging fire and You know, you got 9,000. I'd forget that I even had them, and they'd just rot. But no, so I never got into that process. So the only pickles I ever made were like bread and butter pickles. And there was nothing to that, you know. I mean, it took longer to cut all the vegetables up. And see, that's where my hands go, you know, of cutting up everything that has to go in there. But, so I try not to get too carried away. I haven't even made my hamburger stew that I make. It takes hamburger and onions, and you fry all that up, and then I add a can of corn, peas, green beans, corn, peas, green beans, what else is it? Corn, green, did I say peas? And sometimes carrots, and then I'll put potatoes in it, and the onions in the fry part, and so opening all them cans, and I will change that up every once in a while. I might add green chilies to it, or, you know, something. And sometimes it turns out to be like taco soup. But, so you have to open up a lot of cans, and I usually make 12 quarts of that at one time, and 2 pounds of hamburger. Oh, yeah, it's great. And then I freeze it, so that in the wintertime, now I haven't done this in a while, I can get it out and have soup, you know, when it's really cold, and you can really appreciate it. But, so I tend to make things in smaller batches now. But, yeah, I miss doing all that cooking for somebody else, you know, that's going to be able to appreciate it. So now I just don't feel the need to do any of that stuff anymore. But if my daughter wanted to take it up, you know, I could show her how to can this or that, or make strawberry jam, or that kind of thing. Because that was the easy part. And I stuck mostly to those kind of things. The one time, now mind you, this is the first husband, first marriage, and we had just done all that other stuff. So I got a wild hair up my ass and decided that I was going to make beef barley soup. So I made I filled a roasting pan that would hold like a 20-pound turkey full of beef barley soup. This is what happens when you leave me alone too long. And then I thought I was going to can it. This is before I knew about pressure cookers. Oh my God. So I canned it. I hot water bathed it. And I put it up on the shelf. And I was so proud of myself. And I put it all in little bitty pint jars. Believe it or not. Thinking they looked just about the same size as a can from Campbell's, right? So about 5-6 months later, I went to go get them off the top shelf. And guess what? Them puppies was oozing with botulism. Yeah. So we haven't canned meat so much anymore. No. Because we don't know what we're doing when it hits the cannon of that kind of stuff. So I stick with stuff that's pickled. Now, my corn relish turned out okay. And, you know, because I hot water bathed it. But when it entails meat or fish or something else, and the altitude just really messes with everything here for me. I mean, I have a book and it tells you if you're at blah 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 altitude, you know, change this or that. You know, so yeah. No, we're not so yippity now. And I had to get my drink. Sorry. Had to get my G2. Oh God, wouldn't I have just died if that had been open? Oh God, I would have had a heart attack. God watches out for stupid people. I know this. Me being one of them. It's a full-time job for him. So, I don't know. You know, we might... Now would probably be the time to make all that crap, but I don't know. Just don't know. I do have all the equipment and a big old kettle that I can use, you know, for my hot water bath, but I don't know. I'm just so not in the mood. Not today, at least. We're not going there. And they don't have. I'm looking again for my number. Oh, it was right next to the number I used last. How about that? Imagine that. Shit. Oh yeah. They don't have a farmer's market that I can get to around here. Now, maybe down in Salida, which is probably, it's a 45-minute drive. But getting there is, I don't know if they do that on the weekend or not. And not that they don't have good, fruits and vegetables, at the grocery store here, because they have a really nice variety. I'll give them that much. And every once in a while, we'll get the Palisade peaches that they have around here. Everybody just swears by them. You couldn't pay me to have a carload of them, but I don't know. So, I don't know what I want to do. But it could be something. And if I do it, I will take it to my daughter's and we can do it at her house. Because she was little when I decided to do some of this other stuff. And she wasn't around when I did it recently in Kansas. So. But, and she needs to learn how to do that. And I don't think I've ever used paraffin on the top except for when I was in home ec class, and that's how they taught us how to make grape jelly. God, I was so thrilled. Oh my God, my mother, she's like, oh God. Well, see, now you got to know my mother's story. See, her house, they had apple trees. So when she was growing up, what did they can? Apple pie filling, apples, 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 and she was over the whole canning experience because she had two sisters, so, and her mom, so that's all they did. She wasn't into the canning as much as I was. But it's kind of fun to do. I mean, if you've never done it before, and hoping it turns out right, and that kind of thing. But, and it's not real hard. I mean, but yeah, I thought that was so cool that they poured that paraffin right on top of that, and I just couldn't believe that worked. And I haven't done it since. But I was living at my parents' house after I got divorced the first time, and they had a peach tree. Take that back. And this peach tree, mind you, was only about 3-4 inches around. Wasn't a very big one. And it had 2 branches, that kind of went, here, I'll do it with my fingers, like that, So, we had one of those big old storms come through there in Denver, and that thing was loaded with peaches. Just loaded that year with peaches. And we thought, oh, this is going to be great. We can make peach jam, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, right, we were planning ahead. Well, that storm came through and broke, that thing just split in half because it was so heavy with fruit. And we didn't know anything about fruit trees, and if we should have done something different or better or whatever, Anyway, the damn thing broke in half. We're thinking, oh God, here's all this fruit. And, we thought, well, it'll be okay. They were a little hard, no big deal. Because they were pretty mature, So I thought, well, we'll pick them and we'll just set them in the garage and see if after a week, they get a little bit softer or whatever. So we decided after a week, well, we'll just cut them things up. We cut them up, and we cooked, 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 and we cooked some more. Them things never got soft. I don't know what the hell the deal was. Oh my God, my mother was pretty well pissed. She didn't want to do it in the first place, but we coerced her into doing this, And we must have spent half a day just cutting them suckers up. All three of us, me, my grandmother, and me. I mean, my mom and my grandmother and I, all cutting it up. Oh my God. Yeah, we thought we were real pioneers. Oh yeah, this was great. Oh yeah. Not so much. Yeah. So that was a fail. So, yeah. I haven't made much peach jam to this day. You know, things just kind of ruin it for you. You know, it's like, no, that didn't work so well last time, so we're not going to do that ever again. So, I'm kind of like that today. But, so I stick with the strawberries, and the past 5 or 6 batches of strawberry jam that I ever made, I made with frozen strawberries because I wasn't messing around. I don't think well, maybe once or twice I made it with, you know, I'm going to say raw strawberries, but fresh strawberries? There, that's the word. Yeah. Not so much. So, yeah, I've had a lot of canning, but not with a pressure cooker experience. Some fail, some work out, but oh well. Well, guys, I'm getting tired. I think I need a nap. It's just been a hell of a day. Well, if you like this video, guys, you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you'll know when my next video comes out. And thank you all for watching and sticking with me while I'm rambling along about canning. I guess it must be time to can because I'm thinking about it, see. But not today. God, not today. No. But y'all have a great day, and thank you. Bye-bye. God bless.